When my wife told me she was visiting her family for a few days, I didn't question it. Why would I? She packed a small suitcase, kissed me on the cheek, reminded me to water the plants, and promised to call every night. It was normal, routine, the kind of thing married couples don't overthink. We had been married for 7 years. Not perfect, but stable. No screaming fights, no dramatic silences, just two people moving through life together, adjusting, compromising, surviving. At least that's what I believed. The first night she was gone, she called late, said dinner with her parents ran long. Her voice sounded tired, but I didn't think much of it. The second night she didn't call, I texted her. No reply. I told myself she fell asleep early. Visiting family can be exhausting. The third day I noticed something small but strange. Her location was turned off. My wife was meticulous about safety. She never turned it off, especially when traveling. I stared at my phone longer than I should have, then locked it and went about my day. Trust, I reminded myself, is not suspicion. That night she finally texted, "Sorry, long day. Talk tomorrow." Something felt off, not wrong enough to accuse. Just misaligned, like a puzzle piece that fit but not perfectly. On the fourth day, her mother called me. "Did she arrive safely?" her mom asked. I froze. "Yes," I said slowly. "She's been with you, right?" There was a pause. A short one, but heavy. "Oh," her mother said carefully. "She didn't come here." My chest tightened. Maybe she went to her sister's first?" I offered, already knowing that wasn't true. Her mother sounded confused. "No, she hasn't been here at all." I thanked her and hung up, my hand shaking. I called my wife immediately. Straight to voicemail. Again and again. That's when panic replaced trust. I replayed every recent conversation in my head. Every late night, every unexplained mood shift. Every time she'd picked up her phone and stepped into another room. I told myself not to jump to conclusions, but my gut was screaming. I checked our bank account. There was a hotel charge, not near her parents' town, not even close. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the screen, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. My wife wasn't visiting family. She was somewhere else, and she had lied to my face. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment from the past few months. The times she came home late and said traffic was bad. The sudden password change on her phone. The way she would turn the screen away when I walked into the room. At the time, I had told myself I was imagining things. Now those moments lined up too perfectly. The next morning, I called in sick to work. My hands were still shaking. And I couldn't focus on anything except the growing pit in my stomach. I checked the hotel charge again. It was real. 3 nights. Paid in advance. I searched the hotel online, romantic, expensive. The kind of place people go to escape, not visit family. I texted her. "Everything okay? Your mom said you didn't make it there." No response. Hours passed. I drove to her parents' house anyway, hoping there was some misunderstanding. Her mother looked genuinely surprised when she saw me. "She hasn't been here," she repeated. "Is something wrong?" I lied. I said she changed plans last minute. I didn't want to drag them into something I didn't fully understand yet. On the drive home, my phone buzzed. "Sorry, service is bad. I'll explain later." Bad service didn't explain lies. I asked her directly. "Where are you?" Minutes passed. Then one word. "Safe." That answer scared me more than silence. I checked our shared cloud storage next. Something I had never done before. I hated myself for it, but I needed clarity. There it was. Photos. Not selfies. Not family pictures. Hotel room. City skyline at night. 2 glasses of wine. A reflection in the mirror. And a man. Not clearly. Just an arm. A shadow. Enough to know she wasn't alone. My chest burned. My ears rang. I felt like I was floating outside my body, watching my life fall apart from a distance. I called her again. This time she answered. "Why are you lying to me?" I asked. Silence on the other end. "I'm not," she started. "Your mother says you're not there," I said. "There's a hotel charge, and there are photos." She exhaled slowly. "I didn't want you to find out like this." That was when I knew. "Find out what?" I asked, even though I already understood. She didn't answer immediately. I could hear traffic in the background. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. "I needed space," she said. I needed to think. With who? I asked. Another pause. Someone from my past, she admitted quietly. My knees buckled. I sat down on the floor. How long? I asked. A few months. I closed my eyes. She hadn't gone to visit family. She had gone to test another life. And she had left me behind without the truth. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I didn't hang up. I sat there on the floor, phone pressed to my ear, listening to my wife explain how she had felt lost, how she had needed closure, how this trip was supposed to help her clear her head. Not once did she say sorry. So this was planned, I said. You didn't suddenly decide to visit family. You packed a bag knowing exactly where you were going. Yes, she admitted. That word hit harder than anything else. For months, I repeated. You've been lying to me for months. I didn't want to hurt you, she said. I laughed. A hollow sound. You didn't want to feel guilty. She didn't deny it. She told me the man was someone she dated years before we met, that he had reached out online, that it started as talking, then remembering, then wondering. It just happened, she said. Nothing just happens for 3 nights in a hotel. Did you sleep with him? I asked. Silence. That silence was the answer. I hung up. For hours I sat in our living room, surrounded by reminders of a life that suddenly felt fake. Wedding photos, vacation souvenir, the couch where we watched movies, the kitchen table where we planned our future. All of it felt borrowed now. That night she finally came home. She stood in the doorway with her suitcase, eyes red, shoulders slumped, like she was hoping guilt alone would undo what she'd done. I made a mistake, she said. No, I replied calmly. You made a choice. She tried to explain, tried to cry, tried to touch me. I stepped back. I asked you where you were, I said. You lied. I trusted you. You let me believe I was just being paranoid. She whispered, I was scared. So was I said. The difference is I didn't betray you. She slept in the guest room that night. I didn't sleep at all. Over the next few days, the truth kept unraveling. Messages I hadn't seen, deleted calls, plans made while sitting next to me on the couch. The affair wasn't just physical. It was emotional, intentional, repeated. She hadn't gone to visit family. She had gone to see if she could replace me. That realization broke something inside me. I stopped arguing, stopped asking questions. Answers didn't bring relief. They just added weight. One evening, she asked the question I knew was coming. Can we fix this? I looked at her for a long time before answering. I don't know who you are anymore, I said. And I don't know how to build a future with someone who can disappear and lie so easily. She cried. Promised therapy. Promised transparency. Promised she would never do it again. Promises made after betrayal sound very different. What she didn't realize was that while she was trying to save the marriage, I was already grieving it, and the hardest part wasn't the cheating. It was knowing that when she said she was visiting family, she felt no hesitation lying to the person who trusted her most. That kind of betrayal doesn't fade. It changes you. And I was about to find out just how deep the damage went. Trust doesn't shatter all at once. It erodes in waves. Even when she was back home, even when she tried to act normal, I felt like I was living with a stranger who knew my habits, my schedule, my weaknesses. Every sound her phone made my chest tighten. Every time she stepped out of the room, my mind followed her. She offered full transparency, gave me her passwords, left her phone face up on the table, checked in constantly, but it was too late. Trust given after betrayal isn't trust. It's surveillance. We tried counseling. We sat across from a therapist and spoke in careful sentences, avoiding the sharp edges of the truth. My wife talked about feeling unseen. I talked about feeling disposable. The therapist asked me if I still loved her. I didn't know how to answer. Love doesn't disappear overnight, but respect can. And once respect is gone, love becomes fragile. One night, while scrolling through old photos on my phone, I found a video from 2 years earlier. We were laughing, cooking together, talking about a trip we planned to take. I remembered that night clearly. She had texted him later, while standing next to me. That realization hurt more than the hotel ever did, because it meant the betrayal didn't start when she traveled. It started when she stopped choosing me. I began to notice how often she framed herself as the victim. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. I was scared of losing myself. None of those explained why she lied so easily. One evening, I asked her something simple. If I hadn't called your mother, how long would you have kept lying? She didn't answer. That silence told me everything. A few days later, I asked for space, not to punish her, but to breathe. I moved into a small apartment across town. Just a suitcase, no drama. She cried when I left. Asked me not to give up, said we could still fight for us. I didn't respond. Living alone felt strange at first. Quiet, empty. But slowly, the silence stopped feeling lonely and started feeling peaceful. I realized something uncomfortable. I felt better when she wasn't around. That scared me. She continued texting, apologizing, explaining, begging. Then one message changed everything. He wants to see me again. Just to talk. For closure. I stared at the screen for a long time. Even after being caught, even after everything, she was still choosing him. I replied with one sentence. If you go, don't come back. She didn't respond. That night she went. And in that moment, I knew the marriage was over. She came back the next morning. Not smiling. Not apologetic in the way people are when they understand what they've lost. She looked resolved, like someone who had already made peace with the consequences. I went, she said quietly. But nothing happened. I nodded. It didn't matter. It's over, I said. She started crying immediately. Said she never meant to hurt me. Said she loved me. Said she was confused. Confusion doesn't make reservations. Confusion doesn't lie to family. Confusion doesn't risk a marriage and then ask for closure with the person who helped destroy it. I filed for divorce that week. The process was quiet. No screaming fights. No dramatic court scenes. Just paperwork and silence. She moved out. We divided our lives into boxes. 7 years reduced to labeled folders and shared memories we no longer spoke about. Friends asked what happened. I didn't explain. I just said we wanted different things. Months passed. I learned how to cook for one, how to sit with my thoughts, how to sleep without wondering where someone else was. And slowly I healed. I ran into her once at a grocery store. She looked thinner, tired. She tried to smile. I didn't think you'd actually leave, she said softly. I didn't think you'd actually lie, I replied. That was the last real conversation we ever had. Later I found out the man she went to see never committed to her. The fantasy ended when reality showed up. But by then it didn't matter. I wasn't her backup plan. I rebuilt my life carefully, quietly, without secrets. And here's what I learned. When someone says they're visiting family, and they lie without hesitation, the betrayal isn't just where they went. It's that they were willing to leave you behind emotionally, long before they ever packed a bag. She lied about the trip, but the real lie was making me believe I was still her choice.